possibly even shorter than the cheerleaders' uniforms. That Friday, I got ready for school wearing my golf uniform instead of packing it in my gym bag like I usually did. When my parents saw me, they were a bit puzzled, but I shrugged and said, "It's Friday, so I'm allowed to wear my sports uniform to class." They didn't press the issue and drove me to school. By second period, as expected, I was called down to the assistant principal's office. The moment I walked in, she glared at me. She asked why I was deliberately disobeying her right after our last conversation, and threatened me with an in-school suspension. She went on and on about how I'd never get anywhere if I kept ignoring authority. It took her a while to stop talking and let me respond. When I finally got the chance, I calmly explained, "This is the official school golf uniform. You told me students could wear official school uniforms to class, so why is it okay for the cheerleaders but not for me? Besides, this isn't even a regular skirt, it's a skort, so there are shorts underneath." She sat there staring at me with a cold, furious look, and for a few seconds, I was genuinely worried she might explode right then and there. Finally, she snapped and told me to wait in the lobby. She said she would be calling my parents about my blatant disrespect. I walked out to the front office area, my heart pounding. As much as I was trying to stand my ground, I absolutely hated being in trouble. My anxiety was through the roof, and it took a lot to hold back tears. To distract myself, I fiddled with my iPod, made small talk with the school secretary, and tried to maintain an outward sense of calm. Deep down, though, I was worried about whether I had taken things too far. After about 20 minutes, the assistant principal popped her head out of her office and said, in the most monotone voice, that I could go back to class. She also told me to inform my teachers that I had received permission from the front office to wear my golf uniform. Then, almost as quickly as she'd appeared, she shut the door behind her. Somewhat dazed, I returned to my classes. Most of my teachers seemed baffled by my outfit and asked if I was sure I was allowed to wear it. At least 2 of them called the front office to confirm my story. Each time, they received the same response: yes, I had permission. By the end of the day, I headed off to golf practice as usual, still wearing the uniform that had caused all the fuss. When I got home, my dad was waiting by the front door. He gave me a small, knowing smile as I approached. Curious, I asked him what had happened. I knew the assistant principal must have called him since he was the primary contact for my school. He told me that when she called, she expected him to come pick me up and punish me for my insubordination. Instead, he argued with her, raising his voice more than he'd intended. He demanded to know why I couldn't wear my official team uniform, one that the school itself had given me for practice and competitions. He then suggested taking the issue to the school board if they were going to enforce different rules for different teams. Apparently, faced with my dad's determination, the assistant principal decided to back down. My dad ended his story by gently asking me not to push my luck like that again, though he admitted he was proud of me for standing my ground. "I've always told you never to start a fight," he said, "but always to fight back if you have to. I used to mean it in a physical sense, but you sure showed you can fight back verbally." I grinned, relieved that I wasn't in serious trouble. That day felt like a small victory for every student who'd ever been singled out under confusing or selectively enforced rules. It also proved that sometimes standing up for yourself and doing so calmly is the right thing to do, even if it means a tense showdown in the assistant principal's office. OP added a few edits down at the bottom. The first one says, Edit 1, to my fellow 20-somethings, I'm truly sorry for reminding you that 2013 was over 8 years ago. And if you end up finding a few gray hairs, please don't waste too much time staring at yourself in the mirror. Edit number 2 says, I'd also like to apologize to everyone in their 30s to 60s. I know my first edit might have been even more of a reality check for some of you. Let's just say time flies, and we're all in this together. OP added a third edit that says, there's one detail I want to clarify about the band uniforms. The band members didn't wear those thick wool uniforms to class on Fridays. Instead, they had custom t-shirts and nice pants. Their directors enforced that dress code strictly every single week. And the final edit says, lastly, to the folks who are in their 30s or 60s or any age, I'm sorry if I didn't include you specifically before. Those responsible for the earlier edits have been properly reprimanded. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, we have one from a user called Nat1Common Sense. It says, "Great story, great malicious compliance, but let's not gloss over the fact your dad was prepared for you to throw down at school." OP responded and said, "Oh yeah, laugh out loud. My school district had a zero tolerance policy for fighting, so even if you defended yourself, you got in just as much trouble. My dad was pissed off when he found out this policy when I moved to the district in middle school, and that's when he told me that line, and that he would fight tooth and nail if he found out if someone jumped me, and I got in just as much trouble for defending myself." Another commenter down below called Disciplined Cheddar said, "This is the first post I've read in this subreddit mentioning being anxious about authority and trying to hold back the tears, but still defending oneself. Thank you for sharing your story, but also that small detail, as it encourages me to speak for myself too." I love all the edits that OP put on this one because there were a ton of people down in the comments realizing just how long ago 2013 was. Because if you think about it, it's only like 3 or 4 years ago, right? It's totally not 10 or 12 years ago. Coming from someone who graduated before the 2000s, I think I'd just like to stop talking about this now. This story comes to us from Ding Dong DeLong Wong. "Everybody must know when I am out of office." So yeah, a couple of years ago, I was working for an IT company which also provided server management and general domain and email services. We had some really big companies as clients, so we were used to some really idiotic demands. But most of the time, we could convince the people whose main job seemingly was to be in charge to listen to our expertise. Not so Mr. Bigwig. Mr. Bigwig was the CEO of a large automobile sales company. He also was the type of guy who prided himself with being a great negotiator and thinking so far ahead regular people can't follow. And he was a complete butt to everyone. Mr. Bigwig went on a holiday once and set up an automatic out-of-office reply in his mail account, but as is the technical standard, everybody who wrote him during that time only received the reply just one single time. When Mr. Bigwig returned from his vacation, this infuriated him a lot, so he called our support line and yelled and cussed his way up our hierarchy until he had me on the phone. I tried to tell him that this was working as intended and tried to explain why, but Mr. Bigwig wouldn't have any of it. This went all the way to our CTO, who sent him a waiver to sign stating that we would deactivate this limitation but not be liable for any consequences, in short. Then he told me to make the changes to Mr. Bigwig's account. I tried to object, but the CTO just smiled, shrugged, and went into his office. Mr. Bigwig was happy. He won, and booked this as his latest negotiating victory. Now let us jump to December the 29th of the same year. I get a phone call from Mr. Bigwig. He is not happy. He's not happy because he is blacklisted on about every blacklist in existence. He is also not happy because he can't receive or send any email. And he is not happy because he can't find any mail he received during the Christmas holidays, or near them. He can't find them because the nice number in brackets beside his inbox folder that indicates the amount of unread emails he has reads 50,000. A quick look around the server logs tells me there are indeed some mails he did not receive, 150,000 to be exact. They are still pending delivery because his inbox is full. He is also not happy because he is the laughingstock of everybody he ever respected. Now, let me guide you as the reader to the bottom of this. What you don't know, and we also did not know at the time, is Mr. Bigwig was a member of a very exclusive group of business owners, CEOs, and high-ranking politicians around the globe. The kind of people you would imagine sitting around a large oak table, smoking cigars, drinking €200 whiskey, and discussing world dominance. This group had a mailing list, a crappy, basic mailing list. It went something like this: Bigwig, out of office reply, "Hey, thank you for your email, but I'm on holiday. I will reply later." Some random dude at mailing list, "Merry Christmas." Mailing list to everybody, "Hey guys, some random dude is wishing you a Merry Christmas." Bigwig on the mailing list, thank you for telling me, but I'm on holiday.